FIFA President Sepp Blatter's resignation Tuesday rocks the soccer world. His sudden departure in the face of a U.S.-led corruption investigation came after days of trying to brush off any hint of wrongdoing. Soccer fans around the world welcomed his decision.
The global soccer powerhouse known as FIFA has finally been forced to clean out its bladder. And if you have travel reservations for certain upcoming World Cup events, then you may watch as your wallet gets cleaned out on those non-refundable reservations. With Interpol now on the case and billions of dollars hanging in the balance, let's get to the latest on the FIFA implosion from the man who invented the concept of covering sports business, putting his legal background to work, but he is not going to defend Sepp Blatter under any stretch of the imagination. The sports professor, Rick Horrow. Professor, they got him. I mean, we have to finally admit, they got Sepp Blatter on this. And now we have Chuck Blazer, the former FIFA Executive Committee member from CONCACAF in Miami, saying that, and here comes the transcripts now, he and the governing body did agree to receive bribes to vote for South Africa to host the 2010 World Cup. This is a complete implosion of this organization.
Well, and the story just keeps on giving. And did you just really say clean out your bladder? Is that,
darn right I did.
Yeah, I understand. Well, by the way, you're only about the 400th person that's used that line the last couple of days.
Well, but I'm the first one here, young man. Let's remember that.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not supposed to listen to anything else. Newsmax all the way. I got it. So Remember what we said last week about Chuck Blazer and others, Trafiq, Hawala, the guys who run that organization, the marketing organization. They pled guilty, and for the last 2 years, nobody knows what they said. But the guess is that they've turned state's evidence and given the Justice Department and the Criminal IRS Division tons of information with which to investigate. This is some of that. So when you see Interpol and the Swiss police and 25 other countries deciding to go after FIFA, we understand how airtight the case is. Sepp Blatter says, all right, by the way, I'm going to go out with bells on. I'm going to get reelected, then I'm going to resign.
Now you have Russia and Qatar both starting to worry because they lost Sepp Blatter here, who was the guy that was on their side. We still have World Cups there. And Rick, as I've talked to other people in the last 24 hours or so, there are some who cover soccer for a living. They are now saying they believe that Qatar and Russia are in trouble of losing their bids. What do you think?
Well, a lot of it really does depend on who succeeds as Sepp Blatter. The vote, by the way, which is the other story from FIFA itself, to replace him as president happens no earlier than next December and probably no later than March. And so we've got 6 months of speculation, news stories, avoiding indictments, figuring out who's posturing. And if the Jordanian, who looks like the candidate who got the most votes in the last election, could win, the discussion is, well, we want to keep the 18 in Russia and the 2022 somewhere in the Middle East. So the U.S., which will clearly get the World Cup on or before 2026. The question is, does it move significantly west to the U.S. 4 years or 8 years earlier? My guess is it probably doesn't, by the way, but it's certainly in line for 2026.
Isn't that, though? I mean, to think about that, because the DOJ is the one who's really at the crux of this investigation here, working with other governmental agencies around the world. You really think that FIFA would give it to the U.S. again, even after the U.S. helped uncover all this, and basically throw everything into chaos?
Well, but let's remember, this is not one of those situations where the vote is related to a DOJ investigation. It may be indirectly, but there's no way the criminal courts will accept the U.S. getting or not getting a bid as a condition for criminal pleas. Just doesn't work that way. The issue really is the African and Oceania and South American bloc of nations. The way FIFA is set up today, probably wrong, one vote for one country, meaning Portuguese Guinea or Liberia get one vote apiece, and Germany gets one vote apiece. And so the issue is, how do the African delegation respond to whoever the new leader is? It's a very complicated political issue that's way beyond the 47-count indictment.
I got 60 seconds left here, and we're talking about Qatar and Russia. Russia's talking about $20 billion in infrastructure. If indeed they try to take it away from these two countries, are there legal recourses here for the countries to get involved and tie this up?
Of course. And again, the bottom line is who wins? The lawyers. As a lawyer, I love that prospect. But Qatar has oil money to not only throw at building stadiums, but oil money tied into protecting the integrity of their brand, deserved or not. So you bet The lawyers are going to be really busy no matter what happens, keeping it there or moving it.
I got about 20 seconds left here, and again, this comes down to Sepp Blatter. With what we know right now, do you think that eventually they are going to get him and he is going to wind up defending himself and trying to stay out of jail?
Ongoing investigation. Resignation means nothing to the overall investigation. A lot of people lined up to testify against him. Do they have enough now to indict him? Maybe convict him? Well, it's a long race, so stay tuned.
I got this feeling that they're still just building the case against this guy because there's a lot of tentacles here. And, as I noted, you will not be taking the case. Congratulations, young man. I'm very happy to hear that.
Only because there are other lawyers who are ready to be paid more money for it, by the way.
And other lawyers who want to deal with this. Sports professor Rick Horrow, thanks for joining us, my friend. We'll talk to you again real soon. And coming up next, right here on MidPoint, today's an anniversary of the man who walked in space.